Now in my family, I wasn't the only one who was going through that. My other brothers were also, we were doing drugs and alcohol together. And I had also two of my brothers. And so we would drink together, we would smoke together. And that's when I lost it. That I would stay in the house, the windows, the ventilators, I'd covered them with clothes. I didn't want light. I wanted it to stay in that darkness that I had created. I didn't want daylight. I wanted to be in the dark all the time. I was isolated. I feared the community. I didn't want them to know even I was around. I hid myself, my friends. I was detached from them. It was like prison. It was really like prison. But you eat, you watch TV, you shower, there's water and all that. But I was in jail. It was the worst part of my life. My mom tried. She didn't give up, though she didn't know what to do. Parents don't know how to approach their children when they are in such kind of state. They fear them. They fear to confront them. They don't know what to do, because all that time while I was in addiction, while I was doing all this, there was never a relationship. My parents would wake up very early, go to work, come back very late. And so my mom brought different people to pray for me. My mom would hear that there is a person who has medicine, that she would quit alcohol, and she would rush and bring that person, and they would mix for me this medicine. They put it in my alcohol, but nothing worked. I remember one day, I was even high. It was like midnight in the night. My mom was in the living room. So it's just awake. And so I happened to go. I don't even know what I was looking for. So I found her in the living room. And she looked very sad. And so I asked her what's wrong. And she was going through so much. And so she opened up. And she began to tell me what was really going on. But on the surface, she didn't really go into details. So much was happening, but because I was in another life, I wasn't really connecting with what was going on at home. But when my mom spoke to me that day, I felt her pain. And I was like, my mom is going through so much. I'm like, I need to get myself together. My young brother was hooked. My elder brother is hooked. We are all home. 3 sons, all home, to a parent, to what people are saying in the community. It was very devastating for her. She was going through so much. My mom used not to sleep. We would go out and club in the night, and we come back at 3. We jump over the fence for home, and my mom would be awake. You'd see her in the curtains. And so I felt I was at that place of I'd lost hope. I was hopeless, total hopeless, where you don't have a purpose to live to the next day. And I was suicidal, and I wanted to die because I wasn't seeing why, reason to live anymore. And I tried to commit suicide. I would plan it, but something would happen the next day. I don't do it. I planned it 3 times, but it never went. I would come and see the poison. Like my mom, she's a farmer. So those medicine she uses to spray pesticides, I would come and read it. I'm like, this would do for me. But my mom would be there and I'll be like, I don't want to take it, and she suspects me. I'm sorry I'm taking long to answer this, but there's somewhere I want to go. And I would say I want to take it when she's not seeing that I was holding it, because I don't want her to ask me who took it. And the next time I would come and the medicine is not there. That was God working in His mysterious ways. So I got tired of home. I had lived there for a year. I wanted something different. At home, I'm never a thief, but I would take the money. I would come, find a bag, just remove like 10K just to buy alcohol. So people at home had started to close their rooms. When they come, they are sensitive. I'm going to steal money. So I didn't want that. So I'm like, since they don't want me here, let me leave. So I left. Even when I left, I took my dad's money. Left. When I came back to Kampala, went into back the life of partying. But before I left, when I was leaving, I had researched on the internet about what do I do to come out of addiction. I was tired. I was tired of that life. I need to change. Deep inside of me, I wanted to change.
Hello, this is Anchored 619. We're so glad that you have followed us all this while. If you're new here, please subscribe, click that notification button. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. You don't want to miss any of our episodes.
But I didn't know how. And so I Googled Alcoholic Anonymous and I got their contacts. Actually, it was one of the reasons why I left, to come and find them. But when I came back, even it took me some time to find them. I went back into drinking until the money was finished. Actually stole my dad's ATM. I don't know if you know. I stole my dad's ATM. I knew his PIN. It came with it. And I used to withdraw money. And he got to know money was missing, and he reported. And one day I went to withdraw more money and the card was swallowed. And I was out of money. And my dad knew that it was me who took the money. And my dad kept sending me money. I would say, Dad, I need money, and he would still send me. So my parents, they're different. They're different parents. They're so loving. So one day I called the AA people. Remember, it was a white lady who picked up. She was staying in Bunga. She directed me to Christ the King. And I went. The previous night I had tried so many times to quit, but I failed. Now I'm staying with my brother again. And no one knows at home that I'm even battling with addiction. They know I have a problem, but they don't know how deep it is. So I call that lady, she directs me. I go to All Saints, I go to Alcoholic Anonymous. But in there I knew I'm alone. I didn't know that there was anyone who was going through what I was going through. But to my friends, I looked normal. I looked like there was nothing wrong with me. Same old usual king, partying and enjoying life. So many people from different backgrounds. I was like the youngest even in the room. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, people who were very much older than me, people married for, a person tells you I've been married for 10 years. Alcohol took away my marriage. I had a car, I had a house, I had farms, I had this, and I sold all of them and I went back on the streets. So their stories gave me hope. Their stories gave me hope. It made me feel, actually I'm not alone. There are people who are going through the same thing just like me. And I kept going there, and I kept going there, and I kept going there in my drinking. And they started giving me materials to read, and I started to read their materials. And that's how I started to see light. That's how I started to see, I started to fight. I started to crawl. I started to see if these people could overcome, maybe I can also come out. But I didn't think that I would ever stop alcohol or stop drugs or stop drinking. Drinking was life. I would drink to stay alive because of so many thoughts. My mind was, you know that scripture that says, for as a man thinketh, so is he. I was fear. I was lonely. I was hopeless. I was angry. I was bitter. I had unforgiveness. I didn't have friends. I was in a dark place. I was isolated. I was so many things deep inside of me. So even though you wanted me to be what you thought I wanted to be, deep inside of me, I wasn't that. I had to first repair myself to come to what I am today. And so those Alcoholics Anonymous, they have different meetings around Kampala. And so if you miss Tuesday, there is one at Butabika EDU on Saturdays. If you miss Wednesday, there's one at Makere. It was Friday, there was one in Intinda. And so you would find out what works for you and you go for those meetings. Yeah, and so I was there like for a year, but not consistent. Not consistent. And it was difficult. It was difficult to be consistent in those meetings because you would go back home, you drink, you'd finish a week, do 2 weeks. I tried self-help books. I tried self-help lifestyle. I tried to begin a life of jogging and being healthy and exercising, all that didn't work. I kept relapsing and relapsing. And so one day I'd gone to Butavika and I was losing my mind. I was hearing voices and I wasn't sleeping. I would see dreams. I would see myself falling off buildings. I would see people chasing me. People want to kill me. I was having sexual dreams. It was a nightmare. You couldn't sleep without drinking, without having drugs on you. It was impossible. So the only way to sleep it was to drink. And so I go to EDU, I meet a counselor there. And I start to meet her every Tuesday. And I'd met her like for a month. And the 5th time that I was going to meet her, she introduces me to Imperial Ivan. But my intention, in my mind, I felt like I needed to run away and go somewhere where no one knows me. I needed to go somewhere where I would rediscover myself where no one knows me, and I begin life afresh. And that place looked like Butabika. But the fear of how will people know I'm at a rehab? How will people hear I'm in Butabika? It was the worst thing. Actually, most people think being in a rehabilitation is total failure. It is the worst thing to happen to someone. People even don't want to know that they're in rehab. It's a secret. They bring you as a secret. They put you in there. Families don't want anyone to know that you're in a rehab because it has a stigma of how is society. Society is going to call me a failure. I had the same thing. So when I was introduced to Mpira introduces me to Teen Challenge. And that was the turning point. So Teen Challenge, first of all, it's Christian. That was the number one thing that differentiates it from all the places that I had gone to seek for help. And because of the Christian setting that it has and the approach, how it approaches addiction, it was different for me. And when I came into Teen Challenge, I was accepted. Because I was looking for acceptance. I was looking to feel. I wanted someone to see me for who I am without first seeing my behaviors on the outside and before real seeing who I was. And so they accepted me, they loved me. And it is that acceptance where I didn't need to pretend, where you mess up and it's okay. I had never experienced that. Every time I messed up, people pointed fingers. And it was my very first time for people to see good in me, for people to see abilities in me, for people to see things in me that I didn't even believe they were in me. They saw potential in me, and everything they saw in me I didn't even believe was there. They didn't see the dirt that alcohol had created, that life had created, the behaviors, the habits that I had indulged myself in. They saw past my darkness. They saw good. And so I connected with them. And so the God element part of it, I didn't like going to church. I was never a church person, never. So the Bible element of it was new. It was the fellowship, the praise and worship, the materials, the curriculums, the students themselves in the program. I could relate with them. They could relate with me. And I don't even know what drew me to stay. But I kept coming, and I stayed. And I gave my life to Jesus. And 2015, February 21st, never drank again. I met Jesus, and the whole life changed. Everything changed. Yeah, so it is the love and the acceptance at Teen Challenge that every addict looks for that transforms us. Yeah, to love you in your dysfunctionality without trying to prove, without trying to be who you're not. They love you for who you are. Yeah. Teen Challenge took me in. I never even paid any single coin. They gave me freedom to learn, to interact, and all that. I volunteered at Teen Challenge for a full year, and an opportunity came. They gave me a job, and I worked for Teen Challenge for almost 5 years. But there's so much that Teen Challenge impacted on me. First of all, the work element. I didn't like working. I was very lazy. So they taught me to work and not to despise work. And it changed my element or my perspective towards life. It teaches you how to be a man. Every addict, no matter what age they are boys inside them. And so Teen Challenge teaches you how to be a man. And so my time here at Teen Challenge, working with Teen Challenge, it changed my perspective towards me being responsible, me taking care of myself, taking care of my family. And I went back to school. I graduated with a diploma in journalism and mass communication, which took so many years for me to graduate. I finally graduated. I'm now doing my bachelor's. I'm about to accomplish. I'm in my 4th year. I'm at Bible school. I'm at Bible college. And I started a ministry called Kingsway Rehabilitation because of my life story and what I've been through. And the exposure that I've had at Teen Challenge has exposed me. I was able to touch so many lives through my story. And I decided to begin an organization, that Kingsway Rehabilitation. And this organization, it helps people who are struggling with addictions and people with life-controlling issues from a Christian perspective, just like what Teen Challenge did for me. And God is using me out there, touching people in the community. We are doing non-residential programs, and we are reaching out to communities. We are reaching out to individuals. We are doing outreaches. And God has used me to touch so many lives. I believe He has called me to set captives free. He has called me to speak into a life of people who are going through addictions. And that's what I am doing.
Hello, this is Anchored 619. We're so glad that you have followed us all this while. If you're new here, please subscribe, click that notification button. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. You don't want to miss any of our episodes.